Well, to be fair, they did say September 4th, right? But they didn't say the year. I'm just saying. You know. Beautiful trailer. A beautiful trailer. It does not, to be fair, it does not hit as hard as the first one. The first trailer, in my opinion, just had the beautiful, great editing and probably, in my opinion, better music. At least better trailer music, right? To have like these like the build up, the high, the bam, the release, like it hits so hard. Also, it had more animation. I really enjoyed. Let's just quickly go through everything bit by bit. Silk. No, but yeah, we got Silk, and I got, I think, the Mossy Grotto, I think is this area called. This is, I think, actually the very first area we're going to. I think this is probably going to be the Bone Bottom, and we see a little bit of the Mossy Grotto on the left, so this might be the first town that we come to, right? So you come through here, and we have also... I think also more details. I think there's just way more details everywhere. Even if it's just a little cloud particles, a little bit more like grass here, a little bit there, a little bit like that's what I noticed a lot. There's just like lots of little things. This is kind of weird. This is like one of the scenes where I'm like, you're 11 seconds into a trailer and it kind of like crazy slows down. That's what I mean with like the first trailer was just like so gosh darn clean, and I still watched it, and I feel way more emotional afterwards. This is just like cool. To be fair, I'm also not someone who wants to get heavily spoiled by a lot of stuff, right? I don't look at like I know God, Mossbag like posted so many things and this and that, and oh my god, this, like, I don't care. I really don't care. I really want to, like, there's already so much info technically out. And you can, like, people already kind of, like, have, not figured the game out, but you can, like, heavily guess how to get through the game, especially because they briefly showed the map. And, it's, like, I don't care about any of that, right? Of course, I briefly looked, but I'm like, I want to experience it. I want to experience it as raw as possible, which isn't as raw anymore, of course. Either way, we have a little bit of a slowdown in the trailer. Not my thing, of course. People will, of course, look at the top left, with the little icons. What could they mean? I don't fucking know. No one knows. And that doesn't matter, because I'm going to play it in, like, I don't know, like 9-8 days. I don't know, something along those lines. Let's go. I can wait. Still, like, lots of little details. Like, there's so many little, like, different versions of. I mean, technically they copy pasted those two, and I'm pretty sure this is copy pasted with this one and this one maybe. Who knows? On those ones, of course, they're a little bit like some type of bug, and of course they have a little a certain design, right? That is partially copy pasted, but they're little mouths. I like that little light here. Also, I think they have like so many different benches now. It's also kind of interesting. That also looks like a barbell, like that you could lift. Maybe they do be lifting. Maybe they do be lifting. But of course, we have the title cards pretty much that are everywhere in this trailer now. Well, also in the first one, I think this one is a little bit more, it feels like. So, ascend to the peak of a haunted kingdom. I actually posted this on Twitter. People posting like 2 screenshots of Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong, being the first one was Descend and this one is Ascend. We already knew that from the Edge magazine. They briefly talked about this, Ari Gibson and William Pellin. I hope I actually say their names right. They kind of spoiled that you go up a citadel, right? Again, we know so much already what could be up there. People already said there could be a puppeteer at the very top, right? Because a puppeteer needs to be at the top, connecting the strings, with silk and potentially controlling them, like this kingdom with silk and song, right? So there's like so much already that you could figure out more or less by just looking at the trailer and kind of roughly thinking about how this could play out as a video game, right? Because at the end, it is a video game, right? It's not a show, it is a video game. So you kind of need to be, there are bosses, there are abilities and things, so you can't like stray way too far away from like the norm. Anyways. Insane amount of bells, right? So you could have, for example, like song at the top that reverberates the song or certain sounds that keeps the magic alive at the far end, at the bottom of the kingdom. So there's like, lore-wise, I think we're in for a good time. Of course, ascend to the peak of a haunted kingdom. This is gonna be, of course, a new kingdom, I'm guessing. Which is also good, I think, from a story point that we're not in. I literally forgot the name of the kingdom we're playing Hollow Knight. God damn it. Whatever, that kingdom, I'm old now, it has been 6 years, my brain isn't as active anymore. So, it's good that we're in a new kingdom because that also lets game designers experiment with new things, right? Like, how could it be different? What is this kingdom like? What is the world in this kingdom? And how do things need to work together as a society in this kingdom, right? Or how did they work? Doesn't mean it works anymore, but like you need to kind of realize, oh, interesting. So at the bottom, what we're looking at right now, maybe that's maybe where they had like created weapons or forged stuff, right? So at the bottom, usually where like the heat is, right? That then rises up potentially into a different area. So maybe above this area, you have like some sort of like hot, steamy spring area, right? Which would make sense. And that's what you can work with, right? When you work upwards instead of downwards. Also, one thing I thought about, it allows them to potentially make grand structures at the top that like spread out, for example, which didn't really happen, I think, in Hollow Knight. We did have like the palace, right? But it was more inside than outside, so it didn't really work. Also, it was more of a dream thing. So I hope we have like a vibe similar to Rain World. If you know Rain World, the game, and you go up the side of the tower, which I didn't because the game plays like fucking shit, sorry for that. I hate controlling the main character in Rain World. It's sadly not for me. But lore-wise and visually, it's insane and I love it. And God bless it exists. I will not play it. I happily watch a speedrun of it. So something like that would be cool. Right, where you go up the side of the tower, you have a grand like outlook of the world in the background that you cannot visit, but you can see it, right? And it might give you a glimpse of something or hints, right? Potentially new areas in DLCs that they said they're definitely going to be working on in the next months and years. So it's not like they are done with Silksong, right? They want to make more. They still have more to create, which is insane. Highly recommend the Bloomberg interview, by the way. Sadly, it's behind a freaking paywall that then still has ads, by the way. So there are ways on the internet to remove paywalls. Search on DuckDuckGo. Anyways, all right, moving on. So we have this. You know what I noticed here? There's like a little heat ripple effect. I think that wasn't there before. I think we saw this before, but there wasn't a heat ripple effect. So we can maybe go back again. So you can actually just look here. You see how there's like a little heat ripple effect? Love that. Really looks really nice. I wonder how this is going to work, because either this is a fast travel system in an area, or so this reminds me a little bit of Axiom Verge, which by the way has a great fast travel system, creepy as fuck with a big ass head. But if you haven't played Axiom Verge, highly recommend. Of course you do, 1 and 2, and I think I still have the second one a vault on. Maybe I'm going to play the first one again on stream at some point. But yeah, Axiom Verge had a fast travel system that kind of that went from far left to the far right of the world, and you kind of just jumped on and it like traveled across. Very cool, very cool. And of course in good old Axiom Verge vibe, creepy as fuck. Yeah. Again, so many like little bits and pieces here, but also I feel like the rain looks amazing. I feel like the rain just looks absolutely amazing now. So they might have like improved upon that as development went on, because I don't think we really had great weather effects. There is a rain effect and lightning effect, I think, when you. Oh God, when you dream the in the Pantheon, that one guy, I think you are able to get into their head and kind of like figure out a little bit more of the lore. And I think there was one area where you are in rain, right? So there's that. I have, of course, I like this. This makes potentially how this is gonna work. I like this a lot more than, for example, in Castlevania when you like have like, I think, LT and just shoot yourself upwards. That is a bit weird, right? This is cool, because this is more like an environmental thing. So, for example, you can make these tall rooms, but we all know climbing them up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down is going to be really annoying at some point. So, adding some sort of like gust of wind and Hornet being more, slim works out, right? Potentially. I'm not quite sure if it's this strong to pull her up. Is a bit weird. I would have been okay if she maybe had like her little wings flutter, because we see there are little wings that she gets for a baby double jump, far less than the knight. Then of course the town we have seen many times. I think this is now also like greatly updated. I think also a different bug. Potentially, maybe the bug changes. That's what I'm going to be really interested in. I hope the towns drastically change as you progress through the game. So I would love to see that. I would love to see the entire game change, get a different vibe. I don't know if I need a different... Oh, because you chose option A and not option B, it now is a different world compared to another player. That would be cool. I kind of don't care about it, because that's more of a, oh yeah, that's cool to know. That potentially doesn't mean I'm going to experience it if you don't play through it again, right? It's more of like an afterthought. Of course, if you play through it multiple times, it might be cool, but I'm guessing it's only going to be like a flavor thing, that if you have different options. So, for example, if you have two different shopkeepers, or maybe no shopkeeper, and then you have an option, right? You save this or protect that or whatever, which also would be maybe not a good choice. Depends on, because that, Hornet then, lets someone die. Anyways, you can't really say oh, you now have different options for gear or something along those lines. Because now you can potentially screw someone over or make the game worse for someone else, right? You kind of need to give players the same options in the shopkeeper, no matter their decision. Right? It's like, oh, he now offers a weapon upgrade, but the other one offers you a defense upgrade. Well, I want the damage upgrade, so now I can't have it. Right? You can't do that. Like, in my opinion, I wouldn't want that at all. Of course, I hope it isn't, but we'll see. I think this is probably gonna be oops, my big fat face is in the way. I think you can partially see, I think that's like forward signs, right? Like forward or speed up. So probably a fast travel system, similar to, the first town in Hollow Knight, right? Where you go down. This is going to be interesting. They have little spots right here, but this one doesn't. So my guess is there is a little system in the game where if you have this item, it actually shows it to you with like a little indicator. That's my guess right now, which is good. I think that's good. So you, with just one glimpse, you can make that happen. So that's good. So you don't have to like go through each option, be like, do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? No, you just like open it, you see no indicator, and you can just pretty much leave again, right? Or, for example, the first time you potentially go find the whoever that is, Forge Master, who knows, you can just see maybe one or two indicators and you're like, ooh, what is this? Oh, cool, I can craft this one. Oh, cool, I can craft this one potentially too. And, get a little bit excited. It's good. So those are the trinkets, of course. So, oopsie, accidentally muted that. So we have a vicious stabbing trap. I think we already saw that. So I think Hornet can even like bounce on that. As I think in the second trailer we saw that. No, maybe even in the first one. So maybe we can do that. The magma bell. This trinket is our own invention. It wards against the deadly lava and heat around these stocks. The workers used to request them of us, and now they have lost the mind to care. Okay, so it's a little bit of a protection. One thing I prefer in games like this, and I think PoE Path of Exile does it again really well, separating the lore with everything else. So, for example, you have items that has flavor text or lore, which, for example, the workers used to request them of us. Now they've lost. This would technically be flavor text. The one important thing that should be bold at the very top should be it wards against the deadly lava and heat around these stocks, right? That should be in bold. Of course, it's literally 3 sentences of 4, but still, I like that separation visually, right? Instead of having to like read everything. I understand it's literally 4 sentences, but I like that personally. I prefer that a lot more. Holy moly, that was fast. Crafting by claw alone produces inferior results. With this kit, you can craft finer, sharper, and deadlier tools, if that is your wish. A crafting kit. Okay, so maybe you can craft weapons like this, but then potentially have some sort of like tier system. So you have like that item plus 1 or something. Okay. Quick question. Hold up, let me go quickly back. Any day now. Oh my god, can I? Holy moly. Okay, so I like that, by the way, she opens the map, similar to the knight, right? So, opens a map. And this also shows that you can do this during benches, okay? And it's one of these spells that we have seen. Also, there's a little, it's a little bit mossy, so potentially this is the first bell you find in the game. Who knows? Then you have, of course, the map. Yeah, we have a bunch of names, right? The Bone Marrow or Marrow. Then we have Hunter's March. We have Deep Docks. We have Shellwood. We have Greymoor. This is probably, we can actually already see Goro at the bottom here, so it's probably Grossimodo, or what is it? Grossi something. So yeah, can already see that it's like partially connected. Again, I don't really care about looking at this too long because, again, I want to experience the map myself when I play it. I don't want to know where stuff is before I jump into the Metroidvania. Then we have a lethal acrobatic action. This boss was already shown before. Similar effects here, of course, right? We have Hornet. So yeah, sprint is a thing. We already knew that. That little pirouette. Then a slash down. And it keeps the momentum forward, I guess. That's going to be very interesting how it feels, actually. And I don't want any spoilers, so we'll find out in 8 days. We have also known about this, that we can just, that you can grab the ledges that was in the first trailer. That was very different from from the Knight, right? Because he couldn't grab ledges. He just, like, either you went on top or you didn't. Then we have this, so just slashes through these rings, and of course with silk and everything, Hornet can just pull herself towards it, but also to enemies. That was actually really fast. Did you see how fast that was? She goes from hitting the enemy to whoop, 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 and she's already there. That's really fast. That's like, I don't know, 12 frames or something? That's incredibly fast. Which makes sense, because you want to keep probably things moving. I think these are the ant monsters, right? Or ant, I want to say ant insects, but ants are insects. Anyways, the ants that we didn't get in Hollow Knight, but were, I think, thought about. So we finally get them. It's going to be quite interesting how aggressive they're going to be. Then we have a little of a classic, like escape the lava that pulls up the room, classic Metroidvania stuff. It's pretty much, I think, in every Ori game, I think you had one of these scenes. I don't think you had it in Super Metroid. Technically, you had it in Super Metroid. At the very end, I think if you wait too long to go up the last room, like one of the last rooms, I think actually, like, something comes up, I think. So, also, I think in Zero Mission it also does. I think, yeah. Did I skip one moment that was kind of interesting to me? No, it wasn't that. By the way, I also feel like the effects are much better than in the first trailer. Like, I don't know, they just have like a little bit of bloom, a little bit of like maybe some ripple effect, maybe a little bit of like that something, right? It just works so well. Like, especially those flame effects, for example. It's just like, I don't know, just look good. Also, I love this scene because maybe one of the rare cutscenes we get in the game. It's gonna be great. Vast handcrafted world. Of course, you kind of have to say now handcrafted, right, in an AI age. I mentioned this, even though we all knew that, but, gotta put it in the trailer, of course. That is, by the way, a new enemy. Again, we have another pole. This is one of the interesting moments. By the way, what is up with Hornet right now? Looks like she broke her neck there. Anyways, so it's kind of like a... By the way, we had the little flutter there, so if you didn't see it, if, the YouTube video can actually make it happen. So you can actually see like little wings that just sprout right underneath her cloth. Gives her a little bit of a boost. So apparently there's like a run slash, which gives her a massive knockback and puts her into the air. But if you, I guess, maybe hold forward, this is one of the craziest moments. This just pretty much shows this right here, where a little dash puts her in between those enemies. This right there, this one scene right here, this scene, this combat literally was not possible in the original Hollow Knight. It couldn't have been with the Knight. And that's what I think makes the game far, far different and potentially far more complex to learn and master as a player, because that is insane. Like I should go back. So she runs up, slashes, puts herself into the air, then dashes forward, but kind of wasn't the normal dash. I think that's a special ability in the air where you like strike down on the enemy, hits the enemy, pulls herself again up in the air, keeps herself in the air, then dashes forward. This is probably one of the dash abilities we get, is my guess. Let me check if that... Okay, hold up. Yeah, so this, by the way, costs her... This doesn't even cost her silks. She gets silk from this ability. Okay, so somehow she can just do this in the air. So it doesn't even cost her silk. This also doesn't cost her silk. Silk, by the way, being on the top left, by the way. And then dashes between those enemies, keeps the momentum, and probably could have continued running there. Right? This just literally was not possible in the original Hollow Knight. This is the one scene where I was like, there's a lot in this one clip. Yeah, that's very, very impressive. Then, of course, we have another one. I'm guessing this is different than what we had in the previous scene where she just got pulled up from air. This is probably, is my guess. You can partially see strings of silk moving. You see how it like she gets pulled up. So who knows what this is? Maybe it's... I'm guessing this is like end game related stuff. End game as in like, the last... maybe last third of the game you experience this? Who knows? Yeah. Battle over 200 ferocious foes. I actually thought 200 bosses. No, ferocious foes meaning just mobs, monsters, right? 200 different enemies. This, by the way, also a new enemy. I think these are also new enemies. And I think also each enemy looks far more complex. I think each enemy and most encounters look far more complex than like Hollow Knight in general. Like they just have, I don't know, like little twists and turns and movements and everything just to kind of like force you to fight differently than the Knight, right? Which was just like go up to enemy, hit them, and that's it. Of course, you could pogo and do some crazy stuff, but I think on purpose they're just like a bit more, right? Just to like really keep it flowing, which is the one thing that I think Hornet allows for game design, right? To keep it flowing. Vanquish over 40 legendary bosses, so we have 40 major bosses, is my guess. We'll see if Lamau. That was a like little smear frames of like the enemy just appearing and being like whoop, and he's gone. Kind of funny. Then of course we have Hornet being an umbrella. It's the funniest freaking thing. Look at her. Look at her. It's hilarious. How many normal, magic, rare, and epic bosses though? True! Yeah, it's going to be interesting what legendary means. By the way, in the background, I just noticed a bell. So that's probably a boss to, clear that bell. And again, a bunch of silk. And again, I think the silk looks so much better than in the first trailer. Like, it actually looks like there's something there. It's like tangible. It's really nice. Then, of course, we have obligatory Vor in 2025. A Vor enemy. The very flamboyant boss. Very based from Team Cherry. But also, we have seen this guy. Those are, I think, new guys. So, could be interesting. I think we have also seen this enemy who has apparently the big guy and then the small enemy. Maybe some helper or maybe an additional enemy he spawns once in a while. Also looks very Vine-related, as we can see. This also looks like a ruin in the background. So, that's that. We have seen this boss before. So, restore a kingdom's hope. And this Restore a kingdom's hope. I pray to God, this is what I mean with I hope we can actually tangible see and feel the world change as Hornet goes through and saves it. Because the Knight didn't really save anything, at least not on purpose, but Hornet is just far more complex and can talk. So I really hope we can, at the end, we have like the big finale and kind of like seeing, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I really want this to be a thing. I really want this to be just an actual emotional high point of the story. That would be beautiful. Because I think a lot of Metroidvanias lack that. Axiom Verge didn't have that. You don't have Super Metroid doesn't have that because Lamau, a planet explode. So I really hope this would be a very interesting. I don't know if any Metroidvania actually did this. That's a whole different video to make, actually. Don't steal that idea from me. Is which Metroidvania, and Metroidvanias already are for, gain power. So it's much easier to write a very selfish character or someone who just is more neutral, right? Like the Knight, he just does. He's more like a little puppet for the player. But Hornet, being who Hornet is, maybe you actually can write, I hope they can write it that way, that it's, again, restore a kingdom's hope. So that is going to be beautiful, great to find out blind. I guarantee they will make an enemy-filled area turn into a town hub. They will make an enemy-filled area turn into a town hub. Yeah, I can definitely imagine that, right, at the beginning. I think we even saw it in the first trailer, where it looked like a town, but then an enemy just rushed through. So, could be something along those lines, yeah. I like also this interaction right here. So, oi, and it's just like little waves. I want that. I think this was also not in Hollow Knight, right? Little interactions when you get close. It's not mega complex, I think, to just like do this, right? Player proximity, play animation. Player leaves proximity, stop animation. It's not rocket science, but you have to animate that and actually code it. So that's, love it. Love that. Love those little interactions. Again, this is the fast travel system probably, and we beat the shit out of this guy to do our bidding, apparently, because he's a boss. Love that, by the way. Love that. I hope we actually have these fights. I hope these are actually introductions to bosses. If those are the introduction to some bosses, we're in for a very good time. This guy, I think, is... I think... I forget the Hollow Knight YouTuber. Anyways, we know this guy's name. Google it. Got him. I think he's actually a merchant. So, there's that. That lip guy smack will happen at least 15 times in the normal either. Then, of course, probably one of the most well-known characters in Silksong lore right now is just Lace. Because she's just like a different Hornet. No, but it's different Hornet, but looks incredibly elegant, but is also not like a crafter or someone who like does their own crafting. Hornet is more of a, I would say, definitely partially elegant, but clearly is, as we know how she was born, is not like royal, That's, I think, on purpose. A little bit like roughed up for a character, I guess, But Lace is literally just, the royal character, pretty much. And again, we have a bunch of roses and everything, the white roses, but one big cage. So who knows what's that gonna be? My guess is she could be the reason why we are in the cage, right? Maybe that's on purpose why the cage is here. She put us in the cage to begin with, which then lands us to where we are now. So the idea is, my rough idea right now, because I actually just thought of this. I don't know if Mossback mentioned this. He probably did. He's a smart guy. Is we actually went into this kingdom. Lace found us. We got put into this cage. we break out of this cage. And the reason why we break out of this cage is we want to actually save the kingdom, or Hornet wants to save this kingdom, because she just found this kingdom, got put into that cage. Then they wanted to probably get her out of the kingdom, far, far away, because she's probably a threat to the order in this kingdom. And Lace is somehow connected to it. Probably not being the big bad guy is my guess. She just like does the bidding for someone much higher. But Hornet then says, no, I will protect and I will save this kingdom, and then breaks out and then, starts at the Grossimado, or whatever it's called. The Moss area. It's Mossy Grotto, not Grossimado. It's Mossy Grotto. I'm a dumbass. Anyway. So that's my guess, at least. That's at least how I would write it. And now, seeing this big cage in this fight, you're like, she's the one. Oh my God, she's. So yeah, that's probably the reason why it's here. Also, you need a little bit in the background. I feel like without the cage, it would be something's missing. Something would be missing in the area, right? Anyways, did you guys know it's called Hollow Knight Silksong? There you go. And a little tease at the end. Not because of September 4th. That's the Abyss. Whatever that means, because the Abyss is the Abyss. And it has the sound, right, of the Abyss as well. If you listen to it. It has that rumbling. So it's going to be quite interesting how that's going to turn out. Yeah, beautiful, great trailer with, I think, a lot more depth, in my opinion, than the first trailer, potentially. Because, a lot more is now polished. They can show off. They can hint at little things a lot more. I think I also saw, like, for example, we know that she can, I think, change her nail because she can craft and can do things compared to the knight, who was more like, who just needed people to polish the nail and make it better. But, she can make it better, she can change it. So you have, for example, different nail here, different nail designs at least. I think this is also a beautiful nail design at the top left. I think it's the nail design, by the way. Don't quote me on that. That's also a different nail design. There was, I think, one that looked really cool. I don't know if I'm going to find this quickly again. That's also a different nail design. One that was very... Man, it looks so... This is like a harp. Look at this. It looks like a harp-related nail or something. That looks pretty cool. I like that design, yeah. I think that's the one that I noticed. Yeah. 8 days, I think. Right? Don't quote me on that. But I think 8 days. No, wait. More. No, wait. That's probably going to be more. It's probably going to be 10 days. Either way, very excited to play it. It's going to be a beautiful time. And I'm ready. My body is ready. And for the YouTube viewers, comment down below. If you can smack this guy, would you do it? Not IRL, in the game. If there's a smack this guy button, would you press it? That's it.